Okay, this is from the study plan, and this is like the homework in number 61. And I just did this on pencil paper to show you how I would do this on my own before I would actually go into MyMathLab to enter the answer. Plus, this would be how you would do it if you see it on a test for like on the final or something. But this is find the maximum value and the minimum value of the function and the values of x and y for which they occur. So it gives me this lovely little function. And then it gives me these three inequality functions that I'm going to need to graph. So again, I'm just doing this quickly, and so I just hand wrote out a little simple graph right here. So let's graph these three. Let's see what we get. And we're interested in where all these three overlap. So remember, these are all a graph of lines. I think the easiest way to graph this one is to find the x and the y-intercept. Remember how you find like the x-intercept is you let y be 0. Notice if this is 0, then that means my x out value has to be 9. So I've got the point 9, 0. So I'm going to come over here to my little graph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'm going to plot that little point. I think it's right there. Okay, and I'm going to find the y-intercept. Remember, if you let the y-intercept, you let x be 0. So if x is 0, basically that's gone. Then you can see y would have to be 5, because 9 times 5 is 45. So I've got the point 0, 5. So I'm going to graph that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's going to be, because this is or equal to, okay, I know it's going to be a solid line. If it was strictly less than, it would be a dotted line. So I'm going to angle this real quick. I am looking through my phone, so hopefully this will be okay. And I'm going to draw a nice line through here. Right like that, something like this. I know, it's weak. That's what you get for doing pencil paper. Okay, now if I would plug any point on that line, it would be equal to 45. I want that and everything less than. So pick any point on here and just plug it in and test it to see if it's true or false. And my favorite point to always try, unless my line goes through that, is 0, 0. So I'm going to try 0, 0. And if I plug in 0, 0 here, I'm going to get 0. And 0 is less than 45. So it works. So 0, 0 is below the line, and it worked. So that means anything below the line would work. So I wish I had color pencils, but I would probably lightly shade everything below this line. So I'm just going to do this. Like I said, I'm doing this really quick for you. So I'm shading everything below the line. Okay, so that's anything out here in this space. If I would plug it in, it would work in this inequality. Now I'm going to plug this in. So let's look at this first. It wants y less than or equal to 4. Do not make this difficult. Okay, go to your y-axis, go find 4. So I'm going to go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that means it's a nice horizontal line. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of do this. I'm just going to do it a little way because I just want to care where it intersects right here. And this one, look at this. This is when y is greater than 0. So go to your y-axis, go find 0. And it would be a nice horizontal line right here. So it's actually your x-axis right there. And it wants all the values between that. So right now, I've got these values in here. Okay, so I'm not going to shade that in yet. I'm going to wait just a second. I'm going to remember that. I wish I had a bunch of colored pencils so it would make it more fun. Okay, I'm also going to graph this one. I'm going to cover this up. If this is want all values of x less than or equal to 8. So go to your x-axis, go find 8. So I know if that's 9, that has to be 8. So this is, and it's a nice vertical line. Okay, and it wants all values less than that. So that's going to be over on this direction. But yet at the same time, it wants all x values greater than, notice the greater than symbol is towards the x. All x values greater than 0. Okay, so go to 0 on the x. That would be this guy right here. And I'm wanting all these values in here. Okay. So you're looking for the intersection. So you can see it's this weird little, there we go, polygon right in there. Okay, you're looking for all points, all the vertices. Okay, this one's really, hopefully that one's obvious. And that's the point 0, 0. So that's a key point. Here's a point of intersection. And what is that? That's what, 0, 4. So there's another one. That one's a little harder to see. We'll work on that one. That's a little hard to see. We'll work on that. But this point right here is 8, 0. So at least 3 of them are easy to see, right? Okay, so how do I find, for example, that point of intersection? Well, notice it's this line, okay? Which remember that line came from this guy. So I'm gonna write that down right here. That came from 5x plus 9y, and for now I'm just gonna say that equals 45 because it's the line, it's on the line, so it's equal. And this vertical line, that vertical line is the line x equals 8. Okay, so I want to see which point they have in common. So just take this, x is 8, substitute it into your other equation right there. So you can see that would be 40. Solve that, so subtract 40 from both sides. So I'm going to get y equals 5/9. So my point, that point of intersection is the point 8, because x is 8, 8, 5/9. So I'm going to write that right here just for a minute, because I need to know all the points of intersection. Okay, now I got that one. I still need that one right there. And notice that intersects with the same line and this horizontal line. And that horizontal line is the line y equals 4. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's on the y. So I'm going to use my two equations, 5x plus 9y equals 45, and the line y equals 4, to solve what is that point that these two lines have in common. Well, you know, you're going to have to solve. So I know y is 4, so I'm going to take that, put it in right there. 5x plus, well, 9 times 4 is what, 36. Subtract 36 from both sides. So I get x is 9/5. Okay, so look, I have the point, x is 9/5, y is 4. So I also have the point 9/5, 4. Yeah, they're gross. Okay, now what do you do with those 5 points? We're looking for the maximum and minimum. Well, they gave me this lovely little equation here to find my profit. So I'm just going to do that right here, right below it. My profit equals 20x minus 3y plus 68, just so I don't forget. I'm going to have to do all 5 points. So I'm going to first try 0, 0. And remember, this is your x and this is your y. Well, that's pretty easy. If I plug in 0 for x and I plug 0 in for y, that's 0. And I get 0 plus 68, so I get $68. Okay. I'm also going to do it for 0, 4. Maybe I should put like a little colon here because I'm being lazy. So if I plug in 0 right here, that gives me 0. I'm going to plug in a 4 right there. So it's going to give me negative 3 times 4 plus 68. Just use your lovely little calculator, but that gives me $56. Okay. And then I'm going to do it for another point. There's no special order. You're going to have to do it for all 5. I'm going to plug an 8 in for x. So 20 times 8. 0 in for y. So who cares about him? Plus 68. That gives me what? 160 plus 68. What is that? 228. Okay. And then we're going to plug in the point 8, 5/9. Okay, let me just say, do a calculator. Have a calculator that does fractions, no big deal. But for x, I'm going to plug in my 8. For my y, I'm going to plug in, oops, that's a minus sign, 5/9. So just hit it in just like that. Add 68. And so go crunch that in your calculator real quick. And I think you get 226 and then 0.33333 repeating. All right, and then I'm going to do one more, 9/5 and 4. So it's 20 times x minus 3 times y plus 68. Crunch that in your calculator. And I think you get 92. Okay, so look at this. It wants the maximum and the minimum. This would be my maximum value. So if it asks for the maximum value, you would say, oh, it's $228 when x is 8 and y is 0. And my minimum, well, it looks like this is my minimum. So my minimum would be $56 when x is 0 and y is 4. That's it.